call the Board of Health meeting on November 11th, November 12th at 3:30 PM. I call the meeting to order. Just be advised, this meeting is being recorded and broadcasted via our local cable channel, Zoom and Facebook, YouTube. If anyone in the audience is recording, please let us know. Also anyone in the audience, please use the podium or microphone.
Make a motion to open it?
Make a motion.
You'll make a
Oh, wait.
motion open meeting?
I did, didn't
No, you
Oh.
didn't.
I? Okay, I'll make a motion to open the meeting.
I second.
Okay. All right. Here, on our agenda, Mr. and Mrs. Dusty would like to come before the board to discuss pending food permit. You have the floor? Yeah, come to the microphone.
Good afternoon. My name is James Dusty. I reside with my wife in town here on Bridge Street. And the reason that I'm here is that my wife and I have made a request with the West Brookfield Board of Health to get a one-day permit to sell, first of all, my wife wants to sell her craft items, and that doesn't seem to be an issue. But I have basically a hobby where I make jams and jellies out of my hot peppers that I grow in my garden. And I also make hot pepper sauce that I make, and I've been giving it away to people as gifts. And I wanted to sell these items at the White Christmas Bazaar, I believe it's called, in West Brookfield at the school. And that is coming up in December, and it was brought to my attention that I need a permit to do that. It was also brought to my attention that it was a permit that perhaps I could use at a later date if I were to choose to at other events such as farmers markets and things like that. I made it very clear to the Board of Health inspector that I did not intend to open a business of any kind. I simply wanted to sell these items once or twice a year at these types of events to raise a little bit of money, primarily to pay for the materials that I use to make these jams and jellies and hot sauces. In the process, I met with the Board of Health inspector, and she gave me a list of things to accomplish in my home because I was making these products in my home. And I provided her with as much information that I could. Some of the information I did not provide her with, and she responded with a letter to me asking for that information. And I, quite frankly, in this process, have come to the conclusion that the information she is asking me for is more related to a person that is starting a business, a high-volume business, and that's not what I'm doing. And I expressed that to her when I first met her, and she's asking for things that I think are not reasonable, and she's asking for things, quite frankly, that I don't even understand. She's asking me to determine what the temperature requirements are in my dishwasher. I don't understand that because I read some of the general laws in a residential kitchen, and you can actually sanitize the items that you're using to prepare jams and jellies in your sink by hand. So, so I've become very frustrated. And then there's there's some confusion on the part of what exactly entails what is called a retail residential kitchen versus a cottage food operation. And I'm confused about that. I've done some research, and quite frankly, there's some very contradictory and confusing information, and I can't, recite all the Mass General laws at this time, but I'm just appealing to the board today to please give me some guidance. And I did send a response letter last week, late last week, and I simply asked the board for some fair consideration, and if the permit can't be granted, that's fine. But I really would like to hear from the Board of Health inspector to see if we can't somehow move beyond what she's asking me, because it's just way too much, in my opinion, giving what I'm trying to accomplish. I simply want to sell some jams and jellies at a fair in West Brookfield at a school. I don't really know what else to say. I'm just at the mercy of the board now, and I'm willing to accept whatever you come up with and continue to enjoy my hobby of making jams and jellies and giving it to my friends and families. But I really would like to be able to sell these products on a limited basis just to make a little extra money. That's all I have. Although I must say one more thing, I'd like some clarification, though, on the definition with a residential kitchen license versus a cottage. Let me just get my notes together here. I would like a really clear-cut definition as to what kind of permit one is entitled to and what the requirements really are for a retail residential kitchen versus a cottage food operation permit. And I think it's very confusing from what I've tried to identify in the Mass General laws. And what is the rule for acidification of a product that is not requiring refrigeration? And that has to do with the pepper sauces that I have been making, because they are not requiring refrigeration, yet in some of the rules it states that since it requires acidification, then I can't sell them. But there's a contradiction in the rules there. So very confused, and I really find it difficult to want to go forward with all these requirements, having to have a kitchen, my home kitchen, drawn to scale, and all this other stuff, when I don't even know if the board can clearly define the difference between these various permits and what they actually allow me to do and not do. So I'd just like some clarification on all of this as well, and thank you for your time.
Jim, when is the event scheduled to take place?
It's scheduled on Karen Dusty, Bridge Street. It's scheduled on December 8th, but we have to have the permit from you guys into the Board of Health on the 19th.
Well, because this has to carry over to the West Brookfield Board of Health by the 22nd of November. They made that very clear that I needed to get permitted in town here by that date for them to take action on it. And they said they'd be willing to do it, no problem on their end, as long as I have something here.
Right. Well, number one, I'm gonna respond to one of your questions, because I've been looking into this, on the side as well. And reading through, the regulations, you get a definition, actually two different definitions of cottage industries. And when you get through the entire regulation, part of it turns around and says you're a cottage kitchen when you're producing jams and jellies. And then it breaks off, and then it jumps into residential kitchens. Okay? So residential kitchen picks up if you're adding any fresh vegetables or things like that into the mix. That's where it jumps from cottage kitchen to residential kitchen. Okay?
So if we just did jams and jellies, it'd be a cottage kitchen.
Correct.
But if we do sauces, we have to do the residential kitchen.
Correct.
But that's still different than a full-fledged kitchen
Right.
with menus and tables and all that kind of stuff.
Right, and I'm not looking to say that you have to have a full permit for a restaurant, because that's not what you're looking for.
Right.
You're looking for a simple 1 or 2 day event, vendor's license, or a fair or something like that, that happens maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
Right.
So, does that mean that you have to have a full certified registered kitchen like a restaurant does? If you read the regulations under Mass state laws, yes, because it's a food that you're selling outside of the cottage industry.
Sorry,
Just that's all I'm trying to.
I said it for license on the
I
computer.
hate it when that happens. I'm not well versed in all of the requirements for residential versus cottage kitchen. I do know that they do draw the line at, like I stated earlier, once you get out of jams and jellies and you start going to sauces and vegetables, stuff like that, it then jumps over to residential. And that becomes time and temperature control
Right.
substances. And where the time and temperature controlled substances dictates is that you have to have certain temperatures that you're canning, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the sauces don't require canning, because the pH is down around 3, I keep it at 3 to 4,
Okay.
and that's definitely acidified to the point where it doesn't even need to be refrigerated for years, literally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the other stuff,
And the jams, it's like, after I do a water bath,
yep,
not a pressure canning at all, it's just water bath.
okay, so it just sucks, so.
Yes. Yeah.
My mom used to can a lot, so I know a little bit about it.
Yeah, we do a lot of it, actually. We store tons of food in our pantry that
Yeah.
I can out of the garden, pressure can.
Now, when you're making your sauces and stuff, you said you were cooking peppers and things?
My sauces are strictly hot peppers, habaneros, serranos, some ghost peppers are really hot peppers, and that's the attraction. So I specifically keep it at hot, for the most part. There are some exceptions, but cayenne peppers, things like that. So, and I actually have a name. It's called the Chaplain's Firehouse Pepper Sauce. That's what they gave me that title down at the fire department, so it sounded good, so.
Yeah, if you see his logo, it's a shotgun.
Should have won the t-shirt, so. But yeah, it's and I grow a lot of those, all the peppers I have come out of my garden, and, I dehydrate them and make pepper flakes for seasoning. So, and that's just a matter of dehydrating them in my oven.
Yep.
And crushing them up, so.
you're buying all your supplies and everything at Restaurant Depot?
Restaurant Depot primarily, yeah.
So you can track whatever you buy,
Oh, for sure.
and you know that if something goes bad, there's a recall that comes out, you have to have all that information there.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, was there a question of using your own vegetables too in this mix?
Well, I really don't, I can't think of, when I had made some, like, for the jams, I used strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. I get that at Restaurant Depot. And
So
it's, you know, it's really high-quality stuff coming, all that goes into commercial.
Everything you would be using is pretty much going to be purchased through those vendors.
Yeah, exactly.
And none of it has to be refrigerated.
Right.
It's all fresh, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the quality of stuff that Restaurant Depot sells. I frequent that place quite a bit for my business.
Yeah, it's a great place to go.
Yeah. You walk into the meat freezer there and you come out a frozen popsicle, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
we've got about 80 pounds of chicken thighs, boneless, skinless thighs. It's just amazing how good they are. Good price too.
Yeah, yeah, even the cutlery and everything they have there is quality. So-
Yes, absolutely.
So, all right. I just gotta look through this and see what Trish's,
This one is the most recent response from Trish. All of that goes together in there.
so this is the layout of your kitchen?
Yep.
Okay.
And it's about that big.
It's about that big.
It's a one-butt kitchen.
Okay.
Sure definition.
So you're using your refrigerator, well, to some extent anyway, right? For, you're using the refrigerator to some extent for this
Yeah.
endeavor?
Yeah, we have two, we have a deep freezer and an upright. We have two large freezers plus the freezer attached to our refrigerator as well. So we have 3 large freezers.
Okay.
But, you know, it's not like we freeze a lot of the product either. When I do small quantities at a time.
Yep.
So,
You do keep them, you do cook to a certain temperature, correct?
yes, absolutely.
And do we know what that temperature is?
Well, it depends on what they are, but most of the process I go through, it actually hit boiling temperature, which I think is 212 for a period of time. And then there's simmering beyond that process as well. And then there's the inclusion of, for the sauces, it's vinegars, salts, and the capsaicin that's in the hot stuff that's in the peppers is also an element that that bacteria does not exist in, so.
Yeah. And you find capsaicin in medicine and everything else, so.
Yeah.
Where's the menu?
There's so much, might be before this.
These are the recipes. No, I'm looking for the menu.
I think it's right after the application. I think you're right there.
Firehouse specials. Okay, some of these, one of the things that she's hung up on is your menus and your recipes don't coincide. Okay, so your menu is telling us one thing, but your recipes are telling us something different.
Okay, so what we did there is, on the menu, we decided to selectively choose different items that we were going to end up selling. So that's why they're different.
Changed our mind.
Yeah. So I could easily provide a matching list.
Yeah, I think what you need to do is give us, like, your Chaplain's Firehouse specials, the list you have here of everything,
Yes.
should match the recipes.
Okay, we can do that with no problem.
They might be a little stained, but we can do it.
It is what it is.
So we can just
Yeah, as long as they match is
Yeah.
what the deal is, okay?
Okay.
The floor plan, I don't have a problem with the pictures. It shows the layout of the kitchen, it shows the cabinets, it shows your stove, your sink, all of that stuff. Yes, it says, a full-size scale drawing. I don't see the need of that here. So I'd be willing to accept the photos as is, with the exception of adding to that with your information for the hot water dishwasher.
The dishwasher?
The dishwasher, what does it heat to, the temperature settings and everything on that?
Actually, I just found the operating manual for that. I didn't have a chance to look at it, but I should be able to easily find that.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I found the manual.
And it says several of these recipes, and again, I don't know which is what here. I can't compare both lists because they're not all the same. But she's also got here, some of these recipes do require refrigeration, which does make it a time-controlled food.
She did specify,
Yeah,
No, she didn't specify, she just said it's some of the recipes involving canning.
some of the new ones, I think, said that.
Several of the recipes require the finished product to be refrigerated, which makes it a TCS food and is therefore not allowed with the type of with a cottage food permit.
I think if we, I know that, but I just found out that barbecue sauces aren't allowed. So I don't know, I think I might have had one of those on there, but we can just eliminate those.
Okay, then why don't we go through your menu
Yeah.
and your list of ingredients here, whatever it is, the recipes, and actually give me what's on this sheet to match for the recipes.
Yeah, now, tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also one other thing with the policy, the sick cleanup element, having a plan for that.
What was that again?
In case someone gets sick in your kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
There's actually little kits I think you could buy
yeah,
that would take care of that.
Cleanup.
And then there's a
Yeah.
procedure inside that kit.
right,
That's something that,
yeah.
to have that on hand.
Yeah, I actually have. I have that in my in-bag, so, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
something
it's
like
gonna be a
that,
Which is in the house.
It's gonna be
something like
written
that in your kitchen,
procedure.
but it also has to be a written plan for your,
Posted,
Yes.
yeah.
And follow.
and the other thing is, you've got stuff in storage right now?
Very little, almost nothing really.
So what you're gonna be doing is making all new stuff for them?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, because you
Yeah.
can't sell previously
No.
prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I always make small batches, so we don't inventory quantities of anything, so.
Okay, and the other thing was a hand sanitizer for washing stuff. What I'll do is it says you're using Purell or something, Purell surface sanitizer?
Yeah, it's the same thing that she said she uses too, she's very familiar with that. I actually got some from the Board of Health office here.
Okay.
Plus I use other sanitizing agents as well, so.
Okay, give me a list of what you're using, because here she's telling me that Purell is not a sanitizer that can be used on equipment
Right.
in preparation of food. So if you can get me what you are using, I can compare those and find out what it is, and if it's not there, then I will make a recommendation to you as to what you should get. And if we can address those things, I think we can go ahead and move forward.
Good. Yeah, this has been extremely helpful, just sit out and do it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So why don't we do that? If you can get that, when's the 19th?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. If we can get that in before then we can review it. And okay, and probably move ahead with the comment.
Would you like me to add it to the agenda?
Yes,
For the
please.
19th also?
Yes.
What time is your meeting?
6 p.m.
Probably is Westbrook still open.
I think 7:30.
7:30, I think, so, yeah.
Yeah, we could be first on the agenda so we can get it over to Westbrook though.
We do have a hearing scheduled for 6:05, but I can do it right after.
Okay,
That's good.
What day is that on?
Tuesday.
We're open Tuesdays, and Thursdays, but yeah, we'll do the best we can to, I mean,
Yeah, if we don't, you
If
can
we
probably
can.
hit them on Thursday,
yeah.
as long as they don't delay, then they're okay.
Well,
The only reason
I want to try and get this in plenty of time so you don't have any follow-ups on the other end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've already missed out on 2 of them that we paid for, so
So,
we're just trying not to miss out on this one.
Okay, so just pull all that stuff together?
oh, yeah, well, I think there's no
Yeah,
reason we
yeah.
can't do this like right away. I mean,
Yeah, we can have it for tomorrow, when you bring it to you, so you know you've got it. Then if you wanna look it over and if I'm missing anything or.
Yep, we'll do that right away.
yeah,
As soon as you get that in, she can call me, let me know, and we'll do a quick turnaround on it. Okay?
Yeah, just let me know, and if there's any of the sauces that you say, no, we can't do this one, then that's fine.
Yeah, I'll go through it and I'll look at
Yeah.
it. I just want to make, right now I can't because they don't
They
match.
don't match.
right.
So,
Yeah, we're gonna minimize what we're gonna be producing anyway. It was just too much stuff,
yeah,
so,
Because now we don't have that much time.
well, it's just too much. There's only so much that I can do, so.
Chip, you got any questions?
The only other thing she had mentioned, inspection of anything at any point.
Yeah, I mean, we can, when
Inspection
you're in
of-
operation, just let us know and I can come by and inspect, look at what you guys are
That
doing.
would be,
We can pull that, we can do that, that's not a problem.
Never right around the corner.
Yeah, boom. So,
So,
all right?
Jim drives by our house all the time.
anytime.
Anything else?
that's pretty much for the review of the menus, and I think we touched on all the sanitizer, having the sick plan. That's good for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you got any questions for us?
Nope. No, I might have some in the future, but right now,
Feel free, pick up the phone
I
call.
think it's clear enough what we need to do. And
Yeah. I think, like I said, if we address all those situations, I don't see why we can't move forward and grant the permit.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, assuming if we get this taken care of, Is this a fiscal year? It goes for a year, is that right? So I'm always,
Until June 30th.
Yeah,
June 30th, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And we're gonna be addressing cottage industry specifically coming up anyway, so.
Yeah, next week's.
Yeah, I read something, I forget, I think it was from the Mass General Laws. where
Yeah,
you're issuing, hold that, and so forth. Just briefly, just want to say something. Which I didn't, it said retail residential kitchen, after it's inspected, and then permitted as a cottage food operation. So,
But then it says a cottage food operation doesn't need to be inspected.
yeah.
You have to
so
have a sign.
it might be helpful.
I'm gonna try and get a clarification from the state on that, because they're the ones that wrote that.
Yeah.
And it's nothing that we can change, but if I call them, get a clarification, maybe we can resolve that issue.
Yeah, so in the future, other people might not have to
Go through the same,
go through the same thing.
Yeah.
Be helpful for everybody concerned, yeah.
yeah.
But thanks for your time, I appreciate the efforts for everybody doing this.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
Have a good evening, sir. And ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, I'll be up in the car.
Got anything else on the agenda?
Nothing else is on our agenda. So I think we can vote to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 4:12. Do I have a second?
I second.
Meeting is adjourned.